Getting back to the All-Star game, obviously you guys are sending a few players there. There's a lot of new faces. There's some young stars in the league. I'm curious, is there someone who you look to, someone who's been a man of baseball for a long time, or you think, that guy's a good guy to kind of pass the torch to? Derek's been the face of this game for a very long time.
Right.
Is there anyone else who you kind of see throughout the game?
I think there's a number of players that could, you could pass that torch to. I mean, there's a lot of superstars, whether it's a Mike Trout or it's a Miguel Cabrera, who puts up huge numbers every year. I think there's a lot of guys. The one thing about Derek is he did it for so long, and you never heard about him, in a sense. He stayed out of the tabloids. He just always played the game the right way, played it hard. And that's a lot to live up to. I mean, you can't really ever think of anything about Derek where someone said he didn't play the game right. And that's, you're going to have those days as a player where you get a little upset, maybe you do something you wish, but Derek never did. That's a lot of pressure for someone, but there's some really good young players.
How about Mike Trout and his game and getting to watch him, Joe? Is there anybody who he reminds you of as you watch him as this young player?
I don't know. I mean, you think about Five Tools when you think about him, and I'm not so sure that there's too many guys that have ever put together that power and speed. Someone that comes to mind, a Ken Griffey Jr., a Barry Bonds, put that power and speed together and could really steal bases. But, this guy's a superstar.
We know last year the rave was getting Yasiel Puig in the All-Star game. Well, this year he is in the All-Star game. He's also going to be participating in the Home Run Derby. Is that a guy who you will want to hone in on and who you think's exciting to watch?
He's a young superstar, too. I mean, you think about it, I think there's 5 Cuban-born players in the All-Star game. I mean, that's a lot. You think about, there's been an influx of Cuban-born players in our game, but to me, that's really interesting how they're just not coming over here and getting to the big leagues. These guys are superstars. And a lot of them aren't playing a lot of minor league baseball. They're basically going right to the big leagues. You think about Abreu, you think about Puig, you think about Cespedes. I mean, these guys are really making an impact. So that's kind of intriguing to me.
One of the young arms that obviously people love to see and is featured in a game like this All-Star game, Clayton Kershaw.
Yes.
And he goes down early in the year, but he has bounced back. Joe, he looks about as dominant as somebody can look right now.
Well, I'm sure the Dodgers are loving that. I think he had 41 scoreless innings, and they were talking about him possibly breaking Orel's record, which is an incredible feat. But he's been on a roll. The Dodgers have obviously played a lot better since he has come back, and they've kind of put all their pieces back together, and they're playing very well.
A lot of people debate, well, what's the most exciting thing in baseball to watch? Do you think it's when your team has that young pitcher, that stud, that ace, who you can look forward to every day like they have with a Kershaw right now?
Yeah, I think that's exciting for people. I've always enjoyed the triple and the inside the park home run, but I can see how people love seeing great young pitchers.
You had a pretty memorable triple in your Yankee days.
Yes, I did. Yeah. So those are fun.
I could see why you're partial to the triple after that.